Hi, Mama Dr. Tochi here today with an interesting class. 7 ways that we block our spirit guides. I know that some of the video classes we've been doing recently about spirit guides has sparked a lot of interest. So I decided to extend it a bit further to give more information based on the questions and comments that were put under each video that I've done in the past. So we're going to learn more, some things that are important for you to know so that you will not stop the spirit guides that you are trying to contact, because we do work and we expect results, but sometimes we don't see the results that we expect. So as usual, we're going to have ourselves some forbidden fruit, stuff that other folks won't tell you. So go get the drink, get the snack, get the notepad, get the pen, and we will start class. Thank you for coming back. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into today's class. If you are a subscriber to this channel, I thank you so much for supporting the work that I do here. If you are a member, a double thank you to you for financially supporting the content that I put out here. If you'd like to be a member of this channel, I encourage you to click on that join button you see below this video. If you do not see that join button, just realize that the feature may not yet be available in your country or region yet. Just be patient, it will be coming. But go ahead and subscribe. Click all notifications button so that you will know when I put out good material like this. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up, because that encourages me to put out more material like this. The other thing I want to say is this: at any time during this video, feel free to pause and rewind if you did not hear very well or if you didn't understand what I said. I'm saying this because sometimes in the comments section, people will be asking me questions about what I already discussed in the video, and I don't know if they are aware that they can actually pause the video, rewind, and play it again and listen. Okay, so if you don't want to go to the end and then come back, you can do that during the video. Okay, so let's get into today's class. Why do we sometimes have problems getting in touch or hearing from our spirit guides? There are some things that we as people may be doing that hinders us from hearing from our spirit guides, actually blocks or spirit guides. They're trying to communicate with us all the time, but sometimes we're doing things that keep us from actually getting those signals or those messages. One of the things I'd like to mention is ego. Ego for me is one of the big things. When we think we know it all and we want communication to be our way instead of in the spirit way. I know in one of my touching based classes, I mentioned someone who came to consultation and says, hey, Mama Dr. Tochi, I did everything you asked me to do, built my altar, did my offerings and everything, but I don't think anything is working. And when I said, well, why don't you think something is working? She said, because when she calls unto her spirit guides, they're not coming unto her. We need to understand that spirit guides are not like servants to us. They are not like slaves. They're not like here in the U.S. we'll say step it, fetch it sort of entities. Okay, you don't call unto them and I'm calling unto you. Show come here as I call you. I want you to show up here now. That's not how spirit works. They don't care about us and our egos and what we think about ourselves. Our spirit guides often reach out to us through our dreams, because when we are in a dream state, we are in a spirit state very similar to their state. That's when our spirit is free or freer, leaves our body, and can interact with spirit entities on different levels, different dimensions. So it is a lot easier for them to communicate with us through dreams. Another way that spirit guides will communicate with us is through divinations. Spirit guides will communicate to us through children. And so when people get messages or, unusual messages through their children, just don't shoo them off and say, oh, get out of here. What are you babbling about? Okay, Spirit can reach you the way that spirit needs to reach you. And if you're not paying attention, if you blow off that channel of communication, dear one, you will run into difficulty. Okay. Another reason why we may not be hearing from our spirit guides is just really a plain thing: physical or mental ill health. There are many of us who are ill, our bodies in a state of serious disease. And so because our bodies are malfunctioning, we are not in a capacity or in a place to receive spirit communication the way we need to. Let me give an example. In tropical and subtropical areas, there's this disease called malaria that is carried by mosquitoes. People who live in tropical and subtropical areas will tell you that sometimes people will have fantastic dreams, weird dreams, wild dreams, even nightmares because of the disease of malaria. And if it is left untreated, of course, things could get worse. Okay. There are people who think that they're getting communication from their spirit guides, but they're actually having malaria dreams, okay? Or they're having dreams from fevers, because again, we have people who have high fevers and acute fevers, they will have dreams. Sometimes they will have hallucinations. Okay, so imagine that you did a ritual or you did some prayers or invocations, asking for information, but you were sick. You have high blood pressure, you're hypertensive, you just have uncontrolled hormonal imbalances going on with you. How will you know that you are getting messages from your spirit guides, or that your body system is malfunctioning and you are getting these strange or weird chemical imbalance messages from weird or chemical imbalances in your brain? So you see, that becomes a problem. So I say this, okay, when people come to me for consultations, divinations and stuff, if it shows up in the consultation and the person needs to go check their health, I will say so. I will tell you. I don't want us to go into spirituality or think we can practice spirituality without paying attention to our health. That is farthest from the truth. Spirit gives us scientific knowledge, extra information that allows us to make scientific discoveries and health discoveries. There is a reason why we discover the power of herbs and roots and leaves and things of that nature. That information comes from spirit. And then when we go to use these herbs and roots and leaves, we discover their medicinal properties. We start using it. We see that these things work. And then we start producing this in mass form. So when you look at, for instance, going back to, again, the example of malaria, if you look at the Native Americans in North America, they had trees, quinine trees, okay? And they would get the bark of these trees, boil it down, get a solution, okay, from some whitish solution from the bark of this tree, okay? And they would drink that and it would take care of malaria. Now, if you go to some other places, they have, I believe it's the neem tree. There are other kinds of leaves and herbs that are traditionally used to treat malaria. And so this knowledge of how to use herbs and roots and things of that nature can be divinely or spirit inspired. So you see that there's a reason why spirit gives us that knowledge. Go use this herb, go use this tree, go use this root. And then we, with the technology we have, we now try to mass produce it so that we don't always have to go look for that plant or that tree or that root when the seasons are bad. So do you see the connection? So Spirit says, go use that. We use it. We find that it works. We add it to our cornucopia of knowledge about medicines, natural medicines, and we start making pills and things out of it. A lot of drugs we take today actually had natural origins, okay? So we have to be mindful of that, right? Do not disregard your health. Do not disregard medicine just because you believe that, or you have strange beliefs about medicine or medical practitioners and things of that nature. You need to be in good health in order to be able to practice your spirituality and hear from your spirit guides. Okay. So the other thing that can block us from hearing from our spirit guides is eating the wrong foods or eating taboo foods. There are certain spirit guides that have taboos, and if you are a devotee of that spirit guide or deity or goddess or God or goddess, okay, you may need to abstain from those foods, okay, because when you eat those foods, the vibration, the spiritual vibration of those foods mixes with your vibration as a human being, with your spiritual vibration as a spirit being, and puts you out of harmony with the spiritual vibrations of the deity. If you need to pause the video at this point and rewind to just understand what I say, please do so. Okay, that is the basic explanation for taboo foods. Okay, I know there are some mythological stories that are told that, oh, the reason why this deity or this god, this goddess, or the spirit entity doesn't like this kind of food. But we need to understand that in legends and myths, they are tools that are being used for us to remember information. So let's say, for instance, I want to remember that your name is Peter. If you tell me your name is Peter, I might say, oh, I used to have a kindergarten friend named Peter. And I use that information to anchor it in my brain. It doesn't mean that you are my kindergarten friend Peter. It just means that I've used that story, that memory, to anchor the fact that your name is Peter. So whenever I see you, I remember the story or the memory of my friend Peter, and I'll say, hi, Peter, because I have anchored your face and anchored your name with that memory. So it will be incorrect for me to go around introducing you to people as my friend Peter from kindergarten when you're clearly not. I might even use that to remember a woman's name. So let's say her name is Peterina. Okay, I might say, okay, Peterina. Okay, I'm going to anchor that to my friend Peter's name in kindergarten. So whenever I see Peterina, something says in my mind, remember she has an unusual name similar to, okay, Peterina. Okay, it doesn't mean that Peterina is the reincarnation of my friend Peter from kindergarten school. So I hope you get that information. A lot of times the myths and the legends that we hear about spirit guides and spirit entities and gods and goddesses, and even gurus and master teachers, they are meant to anchor specific spiritual information in our memories, specific spiritual laws in our memories, specific spiritual attributes in our memories. It's to help us remember. Okay, so when we come back to this issue of taboos, when someone says, okay, for instance, let me think of one, like when you go into Ifa, for instance, and they will tell you that, let me say, palm kernel oil, that is the oil from the seed of the palm kernel, is taboo to Ogun. But you can offer palm oil, okay? And then there's a story why palm kernel oil, what happened with Ogun and why Ogun does not like palm kernel oil. That is just a mnemonic aid to help you remember that you offer palm oil and not palm kernel oil to Ogun, okay? Each item in this world has its own vibration. Everything has its own frequency. And we have found out from quantum physics that even these things we look at around us that seem solid, even our bodies, are actually energetic patterns, they're vibrations. And if you look at everything at a really microscopic or even beyond microscopic quantum level, you'll see that everything here is full of holes and it's just vibrations. Everything is just vibrations. And the vibration of my body is different from the vibration of this chair, and that's the reason why I am not falling through this chair. I can sit on the chair, I can sit back, be comfortable, and not fall through the chair, because the vibrations of my body are different from the vibrations of this chair. And so that difference is what keeps me from falling through the chair. Hope you got that point, okay? So another thing that also keeps us that blocks us from hearing or communicating with our spirit guides is having unrealistic expectations. Remember the first example that I gave about a person just saying, well, I want my spirit guides to come to me and show up a certain way, and feeling, well, they're going to come to me the way I want. There are sometimes we have unrealistic expectations. We think that spirit guides are like cute little fairies with dainty wings, and maybe they're like a delicate blue color or a pastel a pink color or something of that nature. And as farthest from the truth, we need to be realistic. It is very unlikely, and hear me out on this, it is very unlikely that your spirit guide is going to show up at your front door in a tailcoat and a top hat with a walking cane and say, here I am your spirit guide. It is very unlikely. I know that we see a lot of movies, especially there are lots of movies out of Africa that, have fantastic scenes and fantastic stories about people going into the water and seeing the spirit, or going into the bushes, or at night, or their dreams, or in the corner of their rooms, seeing all kinds of spirits. Or even there are some East European videos, or even Middle Eastern videos, that have that. You have the genie that shows up, or the jinn that shows up, and they're looking a certain way. They have coal on their eyes and stuff like that. Folks, that's not how it happens in real life. Those depictions in movies, again, are a literal way of trying to describe what is happening on a spiritual level. And so trying to describe to somebody verbally what happens on a spiritual level is not that easy to understand. So when someone is making a movie, they're going to make it as dramatic as possible so that you get the story. Do you understand what I'm saying? You get the story. Just look at the last example I gave about vibrations, the difference in my atomic vibrations, if your electronic vibrations of my body in this chair. There are some people who will not understand that, especially who are science challenged. They may not understand that. They'll be, what does she mean by she's vibrating at a level, the chair's at a different level, and the difference between that is what is keeping her from falling from the chair. So I might go and make an animated movie to demonstrate so that the person can visually see and then get an understanding of what that principle is. And that is really the real intent you should have when watching these kind of movies. Don't always look at them that they're literal. Oh, I went to the ocean and a local rose, glittering with silvery scales like the fishes of the deep. No, spirit ain't coming out from no deep of the sea covered in silvery, glittery scales of the fish of the deep and with a diadem of diamonds on its head. No. Spirit is not like that. Spirit is energy, okay? But if I want to impress the story upon you, that is how I will depict that story to you. So please do not be out there doing your rituals or doing whatever, doing your invocations, being out in nature and spending hours staring at the sea. When is the locust showing up? When is Oshun showing up? When is Yamaja showing up? When are all these folks showing up? I'm throwing all these bananas and oranges and apples and whatnot in here. Why is nobody showing up? They're already done showed up. It's just that you can't see them with your physical eyes. Okay, I hope that you get that. Another thing that blocks us from communicating or being in touch with our spirit guides is drama. There are some of us whose lives are just full of drama. You know, we're involved in this fight, that conflict. You know, there's just so much emotional drama going on. Conflict with family, conflict with friends, conflict with loved ones, conflict with significant others, conflict with children, conflict at the job. You know, we are, some of us just naturally are out there looking for drama, okay? We are just like, you know, we're joining this group and joining that group. We're part of this conspiracy theory group and that group and the other group, and we're believing, you know, this and that and whatnot. And we never stop to ask, how is this paying my rent? How does this buy the beans that I can put on my table to eat? We're not asking that. We're just getting involved in things that have nothing to do with nothing. You know, there's political drama going on. We get so hyped up about it. We get involved in it without realizing that a lot of politicians, they're friends behind the scenes. And they're just doing that, you know, because that's their job, you know, just to have all that controversy and all that drama going on. And we get emotionally involved in it without realizing these folks, they marry each other, their kids go to school together, they make money together, they run businesses together. You know, there's all these things that go on. And we get involved in it. People are having a fight. We get involved in that fight. We don't even know how that fight started. We are taking sides. We weren't even there when the feud started. These things can block us from communicating with our spirit guides because our aura and our environment is filled with so much contrary energy that even when our spirit guides are trying to send us information to help us, we're not hearing it because our attention is on all these irrelevant things. We're focused on irrelevant things, and even if the spirit guide is there going, knock, 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 I think you need to stay at home today because there's something going on. You're like, no, I need to go out there, and you know, little Dookie has been disrespecting Big Mama, and I'm going to go deal with little Dookie. And so, what concern of yours is it? You have bigger problems. I sometimes give this humorous example during my divination. Sometimes I have my slave queens show up, you know, with their Brazilian hair and their lash extensions and their you know, acrylic nails, and they're like, Mama, Dr. Tochi, do a divination for me. I want to know, my baby daddy, is he gonna marry me? Is he playing with me? Does he have another girl on the side? I've been doing everything to get his attention. I want him to be part of his child's life. I'm not interested in him. I just want him to be part of my child's life. And I'm looking at all of that, and the divination comes out and say, child, your priority right now is to get money to pay your rent. And they're like, well, but that's not what I asked. But that's what your spirit wants you to pay attention to. Because all these other things you're talking about is irrelevancy. They are trying to let you know that if you don't pay that rent, your behind's going to get evicted. You're finna get evicted. You're running after somebody who is out there doing their thing, and you're going to get evicted? And you're here trying to find out, you know, how you can get them to be part of your child's life when you know darn well that's not the reason why you're going after them. You're trying to get them back into your bedroom. Okay? So, drama like that. So, a person like that won't even receive the message of the divination because they're so focused on this drama that they're not receiving the message that is coming through. So, we need to be very, very mindful of that. Another thing that blocks us from hearing from our spirit guides is impatience. I want it now, 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 now. We have the microwave, and so we expect our spirit guides to be microwave spirit guides. I want it now, now, now. We don't realize that spiritual work takes time. Spiritual work takes time. I've repeated this in other video classes, and I'll say it here again. Spiritual work takes time. There are some jobs, and I'm sure some of you watching this who may have consulted with me, done spiritual work with me, you will attest to this, okay? There are some of you out there, we have worked together for 1 year before you started getting the results we're looking for. 1 year. How many of us have the patience to sit for 1 year, to work diligently under the scenes, under the covers, behind the scenes for 1 year to get our results? Many of us don't want that. We want it now. If I paid you my money now, do the ritual now, and I want my results now. And because we're now, we don't want to wait for the results. We're not patient for the results. We're not patient for the process. We don't get the message. And sometimes you need to understand that when the ritual is done, additional information may emerge. Additional instructions may emerge. But if we are so focused on now, and we're not being obedient and cognizant of the additional instructions, additional information coming out, we're not going to get what we want. Suppose you did a ritual, oh, I want money. And what's coming out of this ritual is, okay, an opening is going to come for you to go apply for a job somewhere. But you're like, no, I want to see that money, bundles of money under my bed. How do you think you're going to get that money? Or maybe you did the ritual to get money and somebody sees you the next day and is like saying, hi, can I share some information? No, I don't want to hear your information. I'm not interested in that. And you're running out and buying all these lottery cards and scratch cards. No, I know I'm going to win the lotto. But the person standing right there trying to talk to you has a money-making venture that is stable and won't require you to waste money buying lottery tickets. Okay? So I'm sure you got that. Okay. So another thing that causes us to not hear from our spirit guides is being disorganized, being dirty, just that. And please watch my video. I think I have a video I put out a couple of years ago about how dirt and untidiness can disrupt your communication with spirit and can disrupt your getting results. I have a video on that. Please check my YouTube channel for that. There are some people, you look at their so-called ancestral altars or whatever altars or deity altars they have there, and the place just looks like a food store. Okay, and I asked them, if you came to my home and I offered you dinner on a table that looked like this, would you eat it? And they're like, no. So what makes you think that you can have a so-called altar, there's moldy food on it, you have bag of chips, there's some candy, whatever you don't want to eat, you just toss it on the table and say, hey, I'm giving this to my ancestors, I'm giving this to my spirit guides, okay? Or I come into your home, it's filthy, it's dirty. You can't even think. Your mental processes are impaired by your environment. Don't you know that there is energy that flows around your altar, your sacred space? Your home can be stagnant because of how tidy or untidy, dirty or clean your environment is. And if you need to know more of that, please go watch my video where I detail this. There are some people that suddenly start having good things come to them when they clean up their environment. This is the spiritual principle behind feng shui. Okay? You want to know about feng shui? Go Google feng shui. Things arranged in a particular way and things are in the right place in order to facilitate the flow of energy. A lot of wealthy people, even spiritual practitioners, you see motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, they will come out and say, do this, wake up in the morning, go for it, do this, don't allow this, don't think about this. But they will not tell you that they practice feng shui. They will not tell you that their homes are arranged according to feng shui. And then you wonder, why is it so difficult for me to think? Why is it So why is it that whenever I come home or come into my business space, it's like it's so hard for me to get myself organized? But they are not telling you that they get a feng shui master, a feng shui expert to come into their home and rearrange their furniture, rearrange the ornaments, rearrange everything so that energy flows correctly through their homes. So you're there every day. So I'm going to do my affirmations. I'm a king. I'm a queen. I'm a victor. And you do that 2-3 days and you get tired. Check your environment. Now, the seventh thing that I find that blocks our connection with our spirit guides is inexperience. Sometimes we're just being introduced to spirituality and we are not sure, not confident about what we're doing. We wonder, are we doing this correctly? Do I look stupid doing this? Does this thing really work? And so on and so forth. You need to enter and practice your spirituality with whatever confidence you have. Trust that your spirit guides, your spiritual crew will guide you. They will lead you through. Start from where you are. Don't say to yourself, I must be perfect. I must do my invocations perfectly. I must do my prayers perfectly. I must do my offerings perfectly. I must have a perfect altar. Even I myself, with all my years of experience, I'm not perfect. And I confess it. And sometimes I sit there and I say to my spiritual crew, look, I'm doing the best I can with the best I know. And it may not be perfect, it may not be right, but see the intentions of my heart. You know the intentions of my heart. You know what I have in mind doing this. And grant my wishes according to my intentions. So even if I'm doing this incorrectly, even if I'm missing some things that I need to do or need to bring, please consider the intentions of my heart and the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. And help me. And it works like a charm because Spirit knows, your spiritual crew know that you are not perfect. You are learning. So please, dear ones, stop trying to be perfect, thinking that if I do this perfectly, then everything's going to work out perfectly. But if I don't do it perfectly, nothing is going to work out. Everybody makes mistakes. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's class. I know it's a little bit on the lengthy side, but as you go through this class, you'll see that it's for good reason. Again, remember to give me a thumbs up because it encourages me to put out more content like this. And before we go to our invocation, I invite you to go to my website and explore all the spiritual services and products that I have there for you to help you with your lifestyle. If you need spiritual practice coaching, if you need consultation with me with or without divination, if you need Reiki with me, I invite you to explore the books I have. There are so many books there that you can read and grow in your spiritual knowledge. I have events, especially classes where you will learn from me live through video conference. I also have courses you can take on your own in the privacy of your own home. Introduction to spirituality, spiritual practice. How do you start? Step by step by step. How do you start? Number 1, do this. Number 2, do this. Number 3, do this. No, it's all there on my website. And I'm constantly adding more things. I have spiritual products that the stuff that I use, I have them in my store. So if there's stuff you're seeing, like the favor protection bracelets, whatever it is that I use that you see me using across all my platforms, you'll see that in my store. And you can use those things. Remember, they are spiritual tools that you can use to help you get what you want, okay? We're all about practical spirituality here. So let's go to our invocation. I hope you enjoyed today's class. If you did, let's have your AYE, in the comment section below this video. We're thankful to our Creator. We're thankful to our guardian spirits, our ancestors, our spirit guides of every shade and formation for the information we've learned today. for this understanding, this knowledge about the things we do that blocks our communications with them. And we say and we decree that we will now be mindful of these things and work to eliminate them so that our communication with our spiritual crew will be better, clearer, more powerful, and more effective. Ashe. So, Ashe, you say, Tamagu, Takoza, Lesedi, Ayibobo, Enyenhao. So more to be. It is done. It is finished. Makwande. However you say amen, I say that for you.